What is going on, everyone? Welcome back into DaBearsDen, an NFL podcast with the Chicago Bears first focus. I'm your host, Alex. Here today, going to be predicting the NFC and AFC South divisions, arguably the two weakest divisions in the NFL. Let's get into it. I'm going to kick off with the NFC South today. In fourth place, I'm pretty sure the majority of NFL fans are aligned with me on this one, the New Orleans Saints. I think the Saints are going to be the worst team in the league this year. I think they're going to be earning themselves the number one overall pick in next year's draft. They've had bad cap management for really the last 5 or 6 years, kind of just kicking the cap issue down the road, and that issue has finally arrived. The roster's pretty old, and there's a lot of aging players on there, and then the quarterback situation is rough. Obviously, Spencer Rattler's been named their starter. I don't think that's going to last very long. We know who he is, and then when we look at Tyler Shuck, what's he going to be? We'll see. We'll see him on the field at some point this year for sure. Obviously, they brought in Kellen Moore as head coach. I think this year is just going to be a rough year for the Saints, and they're going to really have to evaluate their QB room since they're going to have a very high draft pick in the upcoming draft. So the Saints at number 4. Number 3, I have the Atlanta Falcons finishing third. This might surprise some people. Michael Penix is unknown, right? He played all right in the few games that he played last year. We don't know what quarterback he's going to be in the NFL, if he's going to be a good quarterback, if he's not. So we still have to see. Kyle Pitts, are we ever going to get anything from Kyle Pitts? Generational tight end. A lot of people said he was the best tight end prospect of all time, and has definitely not lived up to that hype since. So is he going to break out this year? Maybe with Michael Penix, there will be a new connection there. Maybe we'll get something from Kyle Pitts finally. And then I'm just kind of expecting an average season. Maybe 6, 7, 8 wins. I don't see them finishing with a winning record. I know they got a lot of weapons. Obviously, Bijan Robinson is fantastic running back, one of the best in the league. Drake London's a good receiver. They got Darnell Mooney, former Bear, down there. He's a pretty good receiver as well. They've got some weapons. I just don't think that this is a super strong team yet. I think if Penix turns out to be solid, then obviously that could change. But I think they're just going to kind of just be a team this year. I don't think anything special from Atlanta will be coming in 2025. Number 2, and making the playoffs, I have the Carolina Panthers, and this might shock a lot of you, but I'm very, very high on the Carolina Panthers last year. For those that might be new to the channel, or for those that might have forgotten, last year I predicted the Washington Commanders making the playoffs and having a good year. I felt very strongly about, their new coaching staff and them bringing in Jaden Daniels and things like that, and turned out, we know the type of season that they had, right? I think Carolina, this is going to be the Bryce Young breakout year. In their last 3 games last year, the Carolina Panthers finished 2-1 in those games, and Bryce Young had 10 touchdowns to 0 interceptions. Really started to kind of figure it out. I think him getting benched last year gave him some time to kind of mentally reset, sit behind Andy Dalton, kind of watch that process a little bit with a veteran, a long-time veteran in the league, kind of pick his brain a little bit and kind of watch how that process unfolded. And when he came back after getting benched, he looked very, very solid. So I think that, obviously they bring in Ted McMillan in the draft. They already have Xavier Legette. They did just trade Adam Thielen. So we'll see if that negatively impacts the team at all. But I think Ted McMillan's going to be a good receiver. I like Chuba Hubbard. I think he's a good running back. He cooked the Bears last year when they played. He had multiple huge runs. And, the defense is kind of young and upcoming as well. I think the Panthers are going to be this year's sneaky NFC team. Them and the Giants. Watch out. I think this is Bryce Young's breakout year. I think they're going to finish with probably 9 or 10 wins and sneak into the playoffs. So keep an eye out for Carolina. And then at number 1, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, they have the best quarterback in the division. They have, really solid team on both sides of the ball. Good head coach in Todd Bowles. I didn't know this, but I saw 2 days ago when I was watching one of my shows, Baker Mayfield had 4,500 passing yards and 41 touchdowns last year. That's insane. And that was with Chris Godwin, Mike Evans going in and out of the roster with injuries. Tampa Bay is really good. They've been good for the last really 5 or 6 years. Right, the roster's good. Baker Mayfield has completely revived his career to the point where he's now probably like a top 7 quarterback in the league, which is just fantastic. Really has to suck if you're a Cleveland Browns fan watching, Baker become one of the best in the league. And you know, Tampa is a scary team. They are a scary team. This is their division until otherwise. And I like what they got there. I think they're gonna win probably 11, 12 games and really be a threat in the NFC. All right, for the AFC South, this division is a little bit tough, right? This is a tight division, not a ton of great teams in my opinion. And number 4, I had to go with the Indianapolis Colts. The quarterback room is just it's just horrendous. Daniel Jones, Anthony Richardson, obviously the staff has upset Anthony Richardson with making him the backup currently. He had a really rough year last year, right? And he's completing less than 50% of his passes. It's not good enough. I don't think Daniel Jones is going to fix their team either. I think he'll probably have a rough couple weeks, and they'll put Anthony Richardson back in, and then it's going to be, where is Anthony Richardson's mental? Is he going to be able to get in there and play, or is his confidence destroyed? We'll see. I think they got a lot of holes in the roster, right? Obviously, Jonathan Taylor's a great running back. I think Quentin Nelson's a great offensive lineman, but they don't really have a ton of big name players. They don't really have a roster that's worthy of competing at this current moment. And I just think with this quarterback room and all the noise coming from the quarterback room, it's going to be a rough year in Indianapolis. I think they're going to be drafting in the top 5, and then maybe they'll be taking a quarterback next year. Who knows? And number 3, I got the Tennessee Titans. I think this is going to actually be an okay year for the Titans. I think it's going to be better than last year. There's going to be some improvement. I think Cam Ward's going to have a good first year. I think that he's going to show a lot of flashes, a lot of great things. I think he's going to show that he probably will be their franchise quarterback for a while. This year for the Titans, I know if you're a Titans fan, you want to make the playoffs, you want to be able to compete. I think this year the most important thing is just let the kid develop, let him find the way he likes to play the game, what works for him. I think he's going to have a good season, right? I think the Titans will win probably 6 or 7 games, and I think if I'm a Titans fan, I'll be happy with that, knowing that Cam Ward is the guy. Because then in this offseason in the draft, you can sign free agents, you can trade for guys, you can start building around Cam Ward, much to like the Washington Commanders are. Where, they brought in Deebo Samuel, they brought in Laramie Tunsil, they put a lot of pieces around their second-year quarterback. Same with the Bears, right? Putting a lot of pieces around Caleb Williams. If Cam Ward proves that he's the guy and has a great year, they'll be able to do that in this offseason, and then next year they'll be in a position where they can actually compete for the division. Number 2, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm not really high on the Jaguars. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is that guy. I think the contract was a bit of a mistake. With that being said, though, Liam Cohen, we saw what he was able to do with Baker Mayfield in Tampa Bay. Could he turn around this offense in Jacksonville? It's definitely possible. Obviously, bringing in the number 2 pick in Travis Hunter, what's he going to do? I think he's going to be explosive on offense. We'll see how he does on defense. If he plays, a lot there. I think their win total will go up a little bit this year, but I just don't think it's going to be that great from Jacksonville. Obviously, I think it depends all on Liam Cohen and his offense. If he can turn this around, then obviously the Jaguars can return to form, but I'm still iffy on Trevor Lawrence, and we're in year 6. We're going into year 5, year 6, so running out of time there with that. And then in number 1, winning the division, I have the Houston Texans. I think they have the best roster. I think they have the best QB in the division. The question for me on the Texans this year is, who is C.J. Stroud, right? Is he going to be the quarterback that we saw his rookie year? Or is he going to be the quarterback that we saw in his sophomore year, right? Because if it's the quarterback that we saw last year, I don't know. We'll see, right? Obviously, they still made the playoffs, but not as, after that rookie season, people were putting C.J. Stroud in potential Hall of Fame talks after having one of the best rookie seasons of all time, right? If he continues on this trajectory, he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Then we saw him take a step back. It's similar kind of to the Jaden Daniels talk right now. Kind of have to taper down the discussion a little bit, right? These guys got to be able to play. There's going to be a year of film study from all these defensive coordinators. 2 years of film study now for C.J. Stroud. Is it going to be a bounce back year? Is he going to go up? or is he going to continue to take a step down? That's the question. But I think their roster is very good. I think their coach and D'Amico Ryans is fantastic. I think they are just the strongest team right now. It's a really weak division. I think they're going to be able to farm probably 5 or 6 free wins off the division, and that will be enough to give them the division win. But the AFC South is, in my eyes, probably the weakest division in the league in 2025. So those are my picks for the NFC and AFC South. Just to recap it really quick, I got the New Orleans Saints finishing last. I've got the Atlanta Falcons third, Carolina Panthers second, making the playoffs, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning the NFC South. And then at the AFC South, I've got the Colts finishing last, Tennessee Titans third, Jacksonville Jaguars second, and the Houston Texans winning the division and making the playoffs, obviously. Let me know what you guys think down below. Do you guys agree with my picks? Am I crazy for having the Panthers in the playoffs? I remember I had a couple people last year calling me crazy for having Washington in the playoffs, and we saw how that went. So I feel very confident about that pick, but we will see. All depends on Bryce Young. If you guys enjoyed this video, please hit that subscribe button down below and give this video a thumbs up. Really helps me out and lets me know that you guys are enjoying the content. It's going to be a great year of growth for the channel. It's going to be a great football season. Can't wait to discuss my favorite game all year long. Appreciate you guys as always. Bear down. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.